This is Jen, and I'm going to be sharing with you secrets to how to get your home operational like a the group homes that I've run and under the leadership of the multiple behavioral health coaches I've hired over the years and all the great skills and things that they've taught. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about Maslow's hierarchy of needs with relation to families and the work I've done. So, at our most basic level, we need to make sure that we've got food in our mouth, water, all of those things, and then we can go on to other needs like making sure that we're safe, that there's four walls around us, nobody's going to hurt us, emotionally and psychologically safe. Then it's love and connection. This is a need. So very, very cold environments, they're not effective because people are missing sometimes love and connection. Then we have growth. So if we aren't given muscles to work out and ways that we can expand ourselves, we are not getting our needs met. And then beyond that is truly learning how to be yourself and self actualize. Where I want you to understand this is we can call these needs out when we realize them in ourselves. So when someone used to come into our buildings, like the homeless folks would come in, they'd have no shoes. We'd give them what they need. Sometimes you'd feel ugly or gross. The way to fix it is to stop, like to totally clean up. If you're not feeling it, you don't feel safe, you don't feel clean, then give yourself the gift of going and like just freshening up. It'll shift everything. The way we move our bodies and and the way we like honor ourselves a little bit with just like routine tasks, washing face, putting shoes on, fresh clean clothes, taking a shower, that'll pull you out of a difficult funk. um, Beyond that, it's important to know that you can use some phrases in your mind. Like when you're hard on yourself and you're missing loving connection from yourself, you can do things like you can even like hold or touch yourself, or, like if you can't give yourself a hug somewhere, that's a connection. Some people they go smoke for a connection, right? There's a connection to their body that they feel, or do other self destructive things like eat until they feel calm. But you can breathe. Breathing is a wonderful way for you to feel connected to your body. And you can remind yourself how much you love yourself and have phrases for other people that you love too. Like, I'm really upset with you right now, but I never stop loving you. We have to give ourselves an opportunity to grow. If we have our most basic needs met, we might still be considering our lives pretty bad because we don't have something we're working on. We have to have growth, and other people have to as well. So there's people that we in supervisory world, like where I've done like the group home, and then also as a parent, you can end up with spoiling people by not giving them growth opportunities, which you don't intend to, but our needs are not being met if we just have food, shelter, and love. We still have to keep going. And then the need to express yourself. People around you expressing themselves mean that they're like, if they sing and they're singing in front of you. If they're talkative, they're talking in front of you. If they do art, they're doing art in front of you. That's a sign that that's working and that you're letting that out in yourself. I just want to share that we have receptors inside of ourselves, and our feeling good is an inside job. So when you see someone shutting off, it means that you'll see things like them stopping their own personal care. So they're cutting off from themselves. And when they're cutting off from other people, they can't receive information either. They won't listen. They look like they're further away than they are. So when I was a foster care caseworker for foster families, we would get training, and they would teach us that a child could go from a really solid two parental structure environment, and for whatever reason it didn't work out, they go to another solid two parental structure environment in foster care world, and that child is usually behind in school by a year. And the reason that child is usually behind in school by a year is because it's like unplugging your phone or your television. It's not willing to receive. You could have the best teachers in the world and you can be in front of the best education, but that child doesn't trust it. So it won't be open. The importance of needs is that when they're unmet, you will be dysfunctional and stressed. And when your needs are met, you will be thriving and happy. So there's body needs, basically, security needs. Um, in our building, the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway I want you to have, because this is how you're going to structure your home, is the first thing is security. The second thing is growth. Everyone gets a growth plan, and it involves freedoms. This is the biggest cookie, the biggest prize. And then the third thing is authenticity, that you could be yourself. That you, if you're an artist, you can talk about art. If you are a funny person, you can tell jokes in your house. If you love singing, you would sing in your house. This is a sign of a happy home environment that we would create again and again. And when it's unhealthy, you're noticing everyone's stifled. Maybe they're feeling unsafe. So that's the goal. Let's test. So for other people, let's read their needs. So you come home after being around other people, and the loved one is whining to you and feeling insecure, and they're so relieved to see you. What needs? Body needs, love and connection, safety, growth. Which one is it? Love and connection and safety. They're feeling insecure. They're safety seeking. Your family member makes statements like, "You don't care. It doesn't matter what I say." What are they going for? They're feeling depleted of love and connection. That's what's going on. It doesn't hurt as much when you see their need. They're tired and refusing to do chores. What is it? Could be a body need, and sometimes it's them fighting growth too, depending on the person. If it's they're tired, that's body need. If it's they don't do chores and they have no use to them, and you're just giving them to them because you understand now that's a human need, then it could be them fighting growth. And you push them. Your partner, your child, you've given a lot of rules to, argues with you that details should have been different. This person is growth seeking and they need more freedoms. If you're taking over for your spouse and they're complaining a lot, you don't have to be mean about it, but you'll want to give them that spot. Be like, let's see, like, I'd love to see what you're going to come up with dinner for us. Let me make sure, tell me how you like it, and then show me how you like it. And I'd love to taste how you cook it. Test for you, because you have to care about your needs. You're overeating or you're not eating enough because of stress. This would be a body need, right? You pick a fight because you've been ignored by your partners and kids. You're craving love and connection. You're tired of doing the same tasks, so you're starting to complain a lot. Is it body needs, love and connection, safety, or growth? You're hungry for growth. Maybe it's time to ask for a raise and a promotion. Somebody broke their word with you, now you don't trust them. You're having issues here with safety. Attachment theory. There's really 3 main attachment theories we're going to get into, and they're extremely important. So attachment theory has a lot to do with when we were born, that we may or may not have had a healthy attachment, not for any cruel reason. Usually parents aren't giving their kids needs because, one, we take forever to raise. We're like the most dependent population of mammals on the planet. And because that's a lot of work for another person. And because it's not intended to be malicious. They're probably just too busy. So there's a secure style, which we can all aspire to. There's an anxious style, which looks like this. Oh my gosh. And it can be anxious on the inside too. And then there's dismissive, avoidant, which is the most painful. And there's another one that's very popular called disorganized, also known as insecure attachment. So if you're an anxious style, then they call this an attachment theory. You're activated. And if you're dismissive and shutting down, it's called deactivated. So let's practice some attachment styles, okay? And these are non-pathology. So there's no diagnosis to go with these. It's like you can aspire at all times to have secure statements in the bank or secure activities or have a secure attachment style, and anyone can get there. So, but I believe that you'll always have a little mixture of both, and that you have to kind of learn to dance with it, and that other people around you should be given some grace when they act that way. but you also don't have to tolerate certain levels of it. So attachment styles. Let's see which one is what. So between secure, anxious, and dismissive avoidant, someone makes the statement, there were just too many things going on with that person. Are they anxious, avoidant, dismissive, or secure? They're dismissive here. Comment, I really don't need help with anything. Depending on how it's said, that's kind of avoidant, dismissive. I probably did something wrong. They seem distant. If you're taking accountability for all of it, you're probably a little anxious. I just want to make sure that we're okay. That would be anxious style. You're activated, not deactivating. I like doing things together, but I'm fine alone. That is secure. The reason that's secure is because it accepts who you are and it's not dependent on the other person to be okay by yourself, but be willing to say out loud that I would prefer to spend time with you. If you were activated or deactivating around another person, you wouldn't be respectful enough to communicate to them because you'd be feeling uncomfortable or you'd want to just shove that conversation to the side. Let's talk this through. I care about us. That's secure. I was just too sensitive, so I left. That's avoidant. So when you think of attachment styles, think of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. How is it that your system responds to a lot of stressors? What do you feel like in your body when you are activating or deactivating? And I want you to memorize that. Some people can be activated, so they're feeling anxious, but they're very quiet about it. What are you like? Are you tense? Are you look away? What is the exact signature of what you're like when you're not practicing a secure attachment? After you memorize this, think of one place that this comes up and how to manage that differently. You can pause this and write that down. To get yourself into a new, healthier identity, the second you're aware of the old one, you want to shift into what's your secure style. And the way you would do that is by giving yourself like a pumped up couple of words to make sure that you know that you're really awesome. And when you do that, you'll shift, and that way you have the bravery to either make a statement. So if you're dismissive, one of the big behaviors they do is like ghosting and disappearing. If they act that way and they need to pump up the strength inside themselves, they would be like, okay, I'm going to be brave here, right? So they feel what's going on in their body. Oh, I want to run away. And then they're going to call it out, like, I got to be brave, and change their posture completely. And that should get them through just enough to pull off a secure move and then not do that painful thing. So I want to ask you what you think the worst of the behaviors is. If someone's like taking off on you or if someone's chasing you, which ones are bad? And we'll practice this. Like, you want to keep a few secure moves in your pocket because not at all times can you get rid of your anxiousness or can you get rid of your avoidant behavior. It wants to avoid it, and if you're doing it most of the time, you're really in a good spot. It's just important to not hurt people. So situation is you're leaving. If you're in an anxious and activated place, then you want to breathe, relax your shoulders, and you want to say, I'll see you later. I'll text you when I'm home. If you're dealing with someone who's anxious and activated, then you have to give them a little bit more assurance. And if you don't, then you're going to have problems. So you just trust that that's how it goes. It's like it sounds mean, but it's like having a needy dog. Certain breeds are really clingy and needy. So you just go, well, I have to set up a babysitter when I go out of town. Okay, well, I happen to have a more anxious kid, so I check in with him every single day. And my other kids, I don't. They're okay. But this one acts this way, so I have to do this. If you're avoidant or deactivated and you're leaving, this is real important. You have to have a phrase. You say, I'm stepping away. I will come back. And then you do your best to make eye contact. If you ghost somebody, it's one of the most painful things you can do to another person, and your family's going to get tired of it. And it creates the anxiety you didn't want in the first place. It's like slamming a big door that somebody wanted to get through right in their face. So if you're a decent human, practice a secure move. It'll cause you less problems. If you've been around somebody for a really long time and you never want to see them again, and you can just disappear gently into the night. But if you see them often, then you want to be like, hey, I want to tell you I'm getting really busy about now, or I'm getting really focused on another project. Anything to create a bridge to let them know that you're not going to be around anymore is better than ghosting and disappearing. Waking up, then with your anxious and activated person, you'll make sure to check in. Hi, good to see you. You don't want to scan for rejection. You don't want to participate in that. Be calm. If you're an anxious, avoidant, if you're an avoidant and deactivated, then you can be like calm. And even if it's uneasy, just approach, be like, how have you been? And let them do the work. When pride is challenged, you can, if you're anxious and activated, maybe you want to pause 3 seconds before talking. And maybe you want to say, like, I hear you, let me think. If you're an avoidant and you're deactivating, you want to stay physically present and say something like, that's fair, I see your point, but you don't take off on them. So healthy attachment isn't the absence of activation, it's the capacity to move between activation and deactivation more smoothly. Let's look at other people's attachment behaviors with love. They might have, like, here's the main core fear of someone with a more anxious style is you're going to leave them. So with them, they might have like a quick urgent tone. They lean in, they're tense, they're wide-eyed, they're fidgety, they're asking repetitive questions. And your response when they're acting that way, for that moment that they're activated, you make sure to say, we're good. You make sure to let them know nothing's wrong. You make sure to let them know that you'll talk soon. They can sometimes create someone running away from them often, which is the last thing that they want. So if you want to keep them in your life and you want to give them a little bit, you want to give them a little cookie, not necessarily meet all of their needs, but you just know you have to check in more. So it's worth, so if you're not going to talk to them for like 3 days, it's worth like sending a text in the morning on the first day and just making sure to tell them that you're going to talk soon, making sure, like, see if they're okay maybe like a couple of days later, and don't leave them hanging because they're going to freak out, and that's not worth it. So you don't be performative. You don't be like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Because that's just going to exacerbate it. For people that have avoidant dismissive style, their thinking is you're going to trap me. So it's opposite. So with them, they might withdraw, give short answers, sound detached, downplay closeness, downplay their emotions, feel like they're strong and respected, turn away, look down, be still or distant. Your response is to not talk to them while they're deactivating. Chasing makes it worse. You can say, thank you for checking in if they haven't talked to you in a few days. If there's someone you're going to keep in your life, because these are the hardest ones. You're going to have the same rules as before and the same consequences. You're just not going to get excited about it. So who do you know has an anxious or avoidant style? Please spend a few minutes thinking about what have you learned about their state that will help you avoid more problems for them and ultimately you. And the second question is, what have you learned about someone who's avoidant? And how can you avoid more problems for them and you when you see this behavior? Good job.